Jose, would you talk about, a little bit about the project you're working on for us right now?
Sure. It's a bilingual adaptation of the Frankenstein story. I've always thought it would be fun, that adaptation for kids, and to do something different with it. So in this story, the doctor is a young girl, like in junior high, who's actually the Frankenstein, and she creates the monster for this school science fair. But really, it's a story of a girl who kind of is alone in this world. Her parents are scientists, and they travel all over the world, and they usually leave her at home with the grandfather, and so she's missing them, and also very resentful that they seem to love science more than they do her. So, and then she's socially awkward, so she doesn't really do a good job of making friends. So in her mind, when she creates this monster, this creature, it's like, I don't need anyone else. I can make whoever I need to make me happy.
How do you picture weaving in the bilingual aspect into this story?
I don't really think about it too much because that's really how I talk with the Spanglish. But I think I think that language is really important because that's how a lot of kids speak with that dual, or kids or people even, who code switch, how I talk with my colleagues in a conference will be totally different than me in East LA with the lowriders and my homeboys. I think it's important for us to show that in this country, people talk English, Spanish, Chinese, sign language. It's not just English that makes up who we are.
Ben, talk about the project you're working on for us.
Yeah, so Caroline reached out to me. She saw a version of something that I composed earlier of kind of like an Appalachian telling of Billy Goat Gruff. And it was very acoustic music driven. And she reached out to me to see if I had any other ideas. And I had something that I had on the back burner for years that I had almost forgotten about, Hansel and Gretel, to make an Appalachian version of that.
I want to go, so we've talked about the specifics. I want to open up a little bit more. And I'll start with you, Ben. Why TYA? Why theater for young audiences? Why is it important to you? Now, you mentioned kind of growing up with it too, so I'm sure it's a very personal connection as well. But Jose kind of made that joke about, I'm going to do real theater, right? There is this weird bias towards TYA that somehow it's less than. And I know I'm on the same side as you guys, but I would love to hear you guys talk about why TYA, why the drive for that, why that particular art form for you.
The way kids view theater is just different than adults. As from a selfish point, I want to perform for the audiences that are unabashed and just react however they want. They react audibly, or if they hate it, then they're going to hate it. They're not just going to be polite, and they tell you what's good. They'll tell you what's really good and what's bad. And I think it's the most important to open up their worlds to every aspect of culture, every aspect of different perspectives, getting to see characters that they wouldn't see in their everyday life.
I agree with everything Ben said, that I think it's the most important theater and it's the most important audience as well. And also just, like I said, kids are the most honest audience in the world. They're like little drunks. They will tell you, they will not filter. And they make the best dramaturgs. They do. They make the best dramaturgs. And with just, like I said, really seeing, the power that theater has to inspire and to think, and and for a lot of my friends are educators, and it just boggles my mind that we don't have more, since the studies clearly show academic success tied into kids who appreciate the arts. You know what I mean? It's huge. So with that same justice kind of motif, it's creating these plays and issues for kids, because I think a lot of times not only are kids talked down to, they're not talked to at all. And in this country, we're really far behind Asia and Europe in terms of TYA, because they speak to children as human beings and not little people. And so I think it's important for these students and these kids who don't think they have a voice to say, oh, you do have a voice and you should use it. Don't let anyone tell you you shouldn't.